My name is Mila Herrera, and I'm a student at Bishop Ward High School and a member of the Summer Mentoring Program at the Central Avenue Betterment Association. I'm going to be asking you a few questions, and today we have with us Mr. Tom Burroughs, who is running for UG Commissioner at Large for District 2. With the pandemic, everything has been difficult, so have you been able to stay financially stable throughout the pandemic?
Well, like many, there has been some challenges along the way, but yes, I'm fortunate enough to have been able to get through the pandemic in a financial manner that has allowed me to continue to stay in my home, to continue to feed my family, and to continue to pay my utilities. But I do know that there are many that haven't had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. How long have you worked for Colgate?
I worked for Colgate-Palmolive Company not quite 29 years.
What was or is your experience like of being a member of the Colgate-Palmolive Employees Credit Union?
My experience with Colgate-Palmolive Credit Union was one that when I was younger, I had a financial issue come forward, and having reviewed some of their policies, I raised some questions. And through raising those questions, within a year's time, I was appointed chairman of the board.
Have you committed a crime?
Have I committed a crime? I don't know what you consider a crime. That would be, I've had a ticket. I've been cited for traffic violations, but no crime that I'm aware of.
Okay. Have you been accused of something that you haven't done?
Oh, I'm sure. In the business that I'm in and in the political environment, I'm sure that's the case.
Do you have any personal experience with mental health disorders?
No, just a few personal friends of mine that have taken their lives because of mental health disorders.
What is your take on homelessness?
My case on homelessness?
Your take on it.
We have a tremendous amount of homelessness within our community, especially among our school-age children. And with the pandemic, the results of the pandemic, my concern is the increased potential for homelessness in our community due to the evictions that are going to occur because the state funding program is behind in getting those monies to the landlords and or to the utility companies. So I anticipate that there will be an increase in homelessness, and we as a community so sorely need to address our homeless population with temporary assistance in finding a place to stay, to get off of the street during inclement weather, but also for stability and finding a home for our families. And we are in need of that greatly in Wyandotte County.
What was the bill you sponsored in January of 2017 about?
I've sponsored a number of bills. In the 25 years I've been in the legislature, I have sponsored a number of bills, and many of them have passed the legislature.
But specifically the one that had to do with mental health?
I would need more information, and I don't want to comment on something I may not remember quite clearly. We have 1,000 bills a year come through us in committees, and it would be quite difficult to go back and reflect specifically on that particular bill.
Okay. What is the importance of family in our community?
The importance of family is not just reflective in our community. It keeps the sanctity of relationships. Families today are blended families, whether they be through remarriage or through adoption or just through common law partnerships. I think that those in types of situations allow us to be more diversified in how we look at family. But I do believe that as those that are in relationships have a healthier lifestyle, they have a more secure financial foundation in which to live their lives. And I believe that relationships and families are extremely important in people's lives.
What impact has your job had on your family?
That is a great question. That is a question I don't believe that many of us ever have an opportunity to answer. I'm very fortunate to have my wife, and we've been married 40 years this year, and I've been very fortunate to have a partner in life that is understanding and supportive of my service to the community. But the impact it's had on our relationship has allowed me to reflect my relationship with my family back to the community. I've missed a number of birthdays, special events, anniversaries due to my public service. And not once has a member of my family criticized that, because they too know how committed I am and how passionate I am to be a public servant to the good people of Wyandotte County.
Which college or university did you attend and why?
I went to the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Like many young people in this community, right out of high school, I had scholarships to go to college, but I needed to support myself. And so I went to work and then went back to school after I was married. I went to the Kansas City, Kansas Community College, transferred on over into Friends University, and also went to KU. So I've continued to advance my education.
Do you wish you studied something else?
There's the only regret that I have in reference to my education was not studying law when I was a young man to the extent to become a lawyer. I really feel I would have benefited from being an attorney and providing additional services for my community, but I wish I'd have learned to type. If today's climate with the social media and everything being computerization, I wish I'd have learned to type.
How did you make a living to survive throughout college?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be working at Colgate-Palmolive Company, and they assisted in paying for my education. But I had to meet a certain grade level, and we were successful in doing so. And so they assisted me in paying for my college education.
Why did you join the Kansas State House of Representatives?
I had an extensive community network established. I had served on a number of boards, including the American Red Cross. I was the first labor loaned executive out of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. Raised the most money for United Way at that time, 30 plus years ago. And from that, I continued to work on my network. I was chairman of the credit union. I worked with the March of Dimes, a number of organizations, and I was approached by members of the community about extending that network on into Topeka to better serve the community.
Why did you work with so many legislative committees?
We are assigned by leadership our committee assignments, and I believe that when I first was elected, I asked leadership not to take it easy on me. I was a quick study. I have a penchant for hard work, and I'm not afraid to go to work. And so they assigned me to the committees that I requested and felt that I was best qualified for. And I don't believe there's a committee in the legislature at one time or another I haven't served on and or in a leadership position.
What are your plans for retirement?
Oh, like many, I think we always look at how that time in our life and what we will do with retirement. But I know my wife and those close to me just can't see me retiring from public service because I'm so committed to doing what I can to move our community forward and being a strong voice in the legislative process and on the local government side. I just have a passion to serve, and as long as I feel I'm capable and deserving of the respect of my constituents, I'll continue to serve.
What is your biggest success story while being a Wyandotte County Commissioner?
I think learning to question some of the what I would call the institutional culture that I find in serving as a county commissioner, the reflecting back on what I see and experience in Topeka to bring that home to Kansas City, Kansas, and provide what leadership and communication and guidance I can on those issues that affect our community. I think that's what I necessary on the local level to assist my local leaders to be successful in what we do as leaders of this community.
Well, I think it's really interesting at how committed and passionate you are about your job. Like, I don't really see that much dedication when someone has this career that, it's just, they're really into it. Well, thank you, Mr. Burroughs, for sharing your information with us. We wish you the best of luck in the election. It was nice meeting you.
Well, very nice to meet you, and thank you for the opportunity to be before you and the group and the young people of this community. I really take pride in the fact that our youth are engaged and they're interested. I'm really excited about the cultural diversity we have in our community because it prepares us, as well as the members of this community, to go out and compete not only nationally but worldwide in how we look and view things in our lens from Wyandotte County.
Well,
But thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.